The heavy, oppressive weight of spiritual pressure descended upon the clearing as the Empress made her entrance. Dressed in white and lavender, her presence was as cold as it was commanding. Zuling, her head bowed in a posture of deep subservience, could only mutter a trembling acknowledgement. "Disciple dares not," she whispered, her voice barely audible against the crackling energy radiating from her master. The Empress's eyes narrowed, sharp and unforgiving. "Zuling, you are the disciple this teacher values most," she began, her tone a chilling mixture of disappointment and authority. "I brought you up to inherit my position as the Sex Empress." She gestured toward the disheveled man beside Zuling. "But look at you. Not only do you not cultivate properly, you actually hide a servant disciple in your residence to flirt and play around." The man, Zhao Hu, gritted his teeth, his body wreathed in a volatile purple aura. "The Sex Empress is actually Zuling's master," he realized, a bead of sweat rolling down his temple. "No wonder she has such confidence." "Master, please forgive me," Zuling cried out, throwing herself into a deep kowtow. Disciple knows her mistake. The Empress remained unmoved for a long moment before finally letting out a sharp breath. "Since you know your mistake, then this teacher will give you one chance." With a sudden flick of her wrist, a shimmering, translucent blade materialized in her hand, pulsing with lethal intent. "Kill this servant disciple with your own hands. Sever your roots of affection. Then follow me back to Purple Cloud Peak to defend closed-door cultivation for 30 years. Zuling stared at the blade embedded in the dirt before her, her heart racing. The ultimatum was clear, her future or the man beside her. But instead of picking up the sword to strike, she looked up with tear-filled eyes, her resolve hardening. "This has nothing to do with Zhao Hu," she pleaded, her voice cracking. "If disciple kills Zhao Hu, disciple's Tao heart will surely be affected. I fear my cultivation will be unable to advance further." "Are you threatening me?" the Empress hissed, her fury erupting. A massive surge of purple energy blasted outward, slamming into Zuling and Zhao Hu, pinning them to the earth. Zhao Hu struggled against the crushing weight, his eyes wide with alarm. "Damn it, is this Empress really planning to kill Zuling and me in one breath?" "Master!" Zuling gasped, her strength failing. Seeing the woman he cared for on the brink of collapse, Zhao Hu's internal energy reached a breaking point. "Take my spiritual power," he roared, surging forward to catch Zuling in his arms. Golden light began to bleed through the oppressive purple haze. The Empress paused, her expression shifting from rage to genuine shock. There was really a secret, she thought, watching the golden radiance intensify. "If I'm not mistaken, he must have awakened the Six Paths' sacred body." Before her eyes, the lowly servant disciple transformed. Zhao Hu stood tall, his silhouette framed by a towering, muscular phantom of golden energy. The sheer magnitude of his latent power filled the clearing, turning the tide of the confrontation. The Empress could only stare, realizing that the man she had dismissed as a mere distraction possessed the potential to shake the very foundations of the world. Zuling's gaze lingered on Zhao Hu, her initial shock cooling into a calculated, almost predatory curiosity. "You rascal," she murmured, a sharp edge back in her voice. "If I knew you had the Six Paths sacred body earlier, I would have just tied you to the bed and forced myself on you." Zhao Hu's expression went blank, a single word escaping his lips. "Huh." The Empress let out a ragged cough. "Cough, master, it." The Empress ignored her disciple's confusion, her eyes fixed on the man. "Master, please let Zhao Hu go," Zuling pleaded once more. "Fine, forget it. Today, for Zuling's sake, I will spare your life for now." With a wave of her hand, a vortex of violet spiritual energy began to swirl around her and Zuling. "Go back to the outer sect to cultivate. Before you break through to the nascent soul realm, do not come looking for Zuling." In a flash of light, they were gone, leaving only the rustling leaves and a lingering scent of ozone behind. Zhao Hu stood alone in the silence, his hand clutching his chest as the adrenaline began to fade. Such terrifying means, he thought, his brow furrowed. "If the Empress wanted to kill me, I fear it would only take a single thought." A surge of frustration and determination boiled within him. "Strength. I need to become even stronger." Zhao Hu retreated to his servant quarters, the weight of the Empress's ultimatum heavy on his mind. He sat cross-legged on the floor, the quiet of the room a stark contrast to the chaos of the clearing. "I finally find the time to concentrate," he whispered to the empty room. "I must hurry up and start my cultivation. My goals are a long ways from being reached." "System, begin improvement," he commanded mentally. A translucent blue screen shimmered into existence before him, displaying a prompt, "System." Zhao Hu took a deep breath, his hands steady as he began his work. "Sleep fast cultivation speed, is this the effect of studying the fire pond humming art and the 6 paths sacred body? Suddenly, a warning icon flashed red on the screen. Detected that the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy is insufficient for the next improvement. Request for an addition. Zhao Hu didn't hesitate. Yes. He tapped the holographic button on the interface. Immediately, the room was flooded with the radiant glow of spirit stones, shimmering in a brilliant blue. The spirit stones gathered before, he noted, watching as the energy was siphoned into the system. The stones began to crackle and dissolve, releasing a torrent of multicolored spiritual essence. Now comes the improvement, he declared, his body igniting with a fierce, golden aura as he braced himself for the next stage of his transformation. The moon hung low over the sect as Zhao Mu sat in a meditative trance, bathed in a shimmering, fiery aura. The breakthrough was intense, he could feel the surge of power knitting through his meridians. By the time he opened his eyes and exhaled the turbid air of cultivation, he realized the cost of his progress. He had burned through 70,000 spirit stones in a single night just to reach the third layer of the foundation establishment stage. It was a staggering expense, leaving him powerful but financially drained. Stepping out of his quarters the next morning, Zhao Mu stretched, his mind already turning toward his empty pockets. Next, I need to figure out a way to make money, he muttered to himself. His thoughts were interrupted by a group of disciples blocking his path. At the center stood a hulking, muscular man with long blonde hair and a confident smirk. Zhao Mu, the man called out, his voice dripping with false camaraderie. I heard Senior Sister Chu gave you quite a few benefits. Aren't you planning to show some appreciation to us brothers? Zhao Mu looked at him, unimpressed. This was Gang, a man known for bullying the weak and acting like a tiger among the lower-ranking disciples. The narration of his reputation preceded him. He was a servant disciple who had only recently managed to reach the 9th level of chi refinement. Bullying the weak, you sure have spent a lot of spirit stones, huh? Zhao Mu countered, his voice calm. Gang's face twisted in rage. Why you? Who do you think you're talking to, brat? With a roar, he lunged forward, his fist glowing with the phantom image of a pouncing tiger. To Gang, Zhao Mu seemed like a stationary target, but to Zhao Mu, the attack was sluggish. Too slow, he whispered. Before Gang could even register the movement, Zhao Mu was at his side. With a casual, lightning-fast strike, Zhao Mu landed a heavy blow that sent the larger man reeling. Gang stumbled back, blood spraying from his mouth as his lackeys rushed to catch him. Brother Gang, are you okay? They cried out in shock. Gang looked up, his face pale and eyes wide with disbelief. You actually. Zhao Mu stood tall, a playful, confident smile on his face as a faint aura of heat radiated from his body. Is it that obvious? He asked. The power of a foundation establishment cultivator was now clear for all to see.